Today, millions of American seniors are waking up to a stark new reality that few saw coming. The Trump administration has just dropped what many are calling a political bombshell, revealing plans that could fundamentally reshape Social Security as we know it. For the nearly 70 million Americans who depend on these benefits, including retirees, disabled workers, and SSI recipients, these changes aren't just policy adjustments, they're potential life-altering shifts that could impact everything from monthly checks to Medicare coverage. But here's what's really turning heads. The timing and scale of these admissions have caught both Democrats and Republicans off guard, leaving many wondering if this is just the tip of the iceberg. What's especially concerning is how these changes could affect the most vulnerable Americans, particularly those living month to month on fixed incomes. And while some are calling this a necessary reform, others are sounding alarm bells about what it could mean for the future of America's retirement safety net. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share might change everything you thought you knew about the future of Social Security. Before we dive deeper into these shocking developments, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This channel is dedicated to bringing you the latest updates on Social Security, retirement benefits, and policy changes that affect millions of Americans. Your support helps us continue delivering this crucial information to those who need it most. Let's start with the biggest revelation. The Trump administration has officially acknowledged that significant changes to Social Security are not just possible, but necessary in their view. According to recent statements from key officials, these modifications could affect everything from cost of living adjustments to eligibility requirements for both Social Security retirement benefits and disability programs. The administration argues these changes are essential to ensure the program's long-term sustainability, but critics are already pushing back hard against what they see as potential cuts to vital benefits. One of the most controversial aspects of these proposed changes involves the way Social Security calculates annual cost of living adjustments, COLAs. The current system, which helps benefits keep pace with inflation, could see a major overhaul. The administration suggests moving to what they call a more accurate measure of inflation, the chained CPI. But here's what they're not telling you up front. This change could result in smaller annual increases for beneficiaries, potentially costing the average recipient thousands of dollars over their retirement years. Think about that for a moment. How would a reduction in annual increases affect someone living primarily on Social Security? For many seniors, even a small decrease in their expected benefits could mean choosing between medications and groceries, or between paying utilities and maintaining their home. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, these are real decisions affecting real lives. But that's just the beginning. The administration's proposals also include potential changes to the Social Security Disability Insurance (SSDI) program. They're considering stricter eligibility requirements and more frequent continuing disability reviews. For the millions of Americans who depend on SSDI, these changes could make it harder to qualify for benefits and increase the risk of losing them. The administration argues these measures would help reduce fraud and ensure benefits go to those truly in need, but advocacy groups warn they could create unnecessary barriers for legitimate claimants. What's particularly interesting is how these proposals have created unusual alliances and divisions in Washington. Some traditional Republican allies are expressing concern about the potential impact on their constituents, while certain Democratic lawmakers are suggesting their own alternatives for ensuring Social Security's long-term viability. This raises an important question. In today's polarized political climate, can any significant changes to Social Security gain enough bipartisan support to become reality? The timing of these announcements has also raised eyebrows among political observers. With major elections on the horizon, why is the administration choosing this moment to address such a sensitive issue? Some analysts suggest it's a strategic move to get ahead of inevitable discussions about Social Security's future, while others see it as a calculated risk that could significantly impact voter sentiment. Let's talk about the Supplemental Security Income (SSI) program, which hasn't received as much media attention but could see equally significant changes. The administration's proposals include modifications to the asset limits and income restrictions that determine SSI eligibility. Currently, SSI recipients can't have more than $2,000 in assets, $3,000 for couples, a limit that hasn't changed since 1989. While the administration suggests updating these limits, the proposed changes come with new restrictions that could make it harder for some current recipients to maintain their benefits. One aspect that's particularly concerning for many advocates is how these changes might affect dual-eligible beneficiaries, those who receive both Social Security and Medicare. The proposed modifications could impact how these programs interact, potentially affecting healthcare coverage and out-of-pocket costs for millions of seniors. This raises another crucial question. How will these changes affect the broader healthcare system, especially for those who depend on multiple federal programs? The administration has also suggested changes to the retirement age for future beneficiaries. While they've emphasized that current retirees wouldn't be affected, this could significantly impact Americans who are still in the workforce. The proposal includes gradually increasing the full retirement age, citing increased life expectancy and changing workforce patterns. But critics argue this effectively amounts to a benefit cut for future retirees who would have to work longer to receive full benefits. What's often overlooked in these discussions is the impact on special groups of beneficiaries such as widows, widowers, and adult disabled children. The proposed changes could affect how these individuals qualify for benefits and how much they receive. For example, modifications to the way survivor benefits are calculated could have long-lasting implications for families who've lost a primary breadwinner. The administration's proposals also include changes to how Social Security credits are earned. Currently, workers need 40 credits, roughly 10 years of work, to qualify for retirement benefits. The new proposals suggest adjusting how these credits are calculated and potentially increasing the number of credits needed for certain benefits. This could particularly affect part-time workers, gig economy participants, and those with irregular work histories. Another significant aspect of the proposed changes involves the taxation of Social Security benefits. Currently, beneficiaries with combined incomes above certain thresholds pay taxes on up to 85% of their benefits. The administration's proposals include adjustments to these thresholds, which haven't been updated for inflation since they were introduced. While this might seem like a technical change, it could have real implications for middle-income retirees. The proposals also address the growing concern about Social Security's trust fund. According to current projections, the trust fund could be depleted by 2034 if no changes are made. The administration argues their proposed modifications would help extend the program's solvency. But at what cost to current and future beneficiaries? This brings up an important debate about balancing long-term sustainability with adequate benefit levels. What's particularly interesting is how these changes might affect different generations differently. While current retirees might see relatively minor adjustments, Generation X and Millennials could face more significant changes to their future benefits. This generational impact raises questions about fairness and social equity. How do we ensure retirement security for future generations while maintaining commitments to current beneficiaries? The administration has also proposed changes to how Social Security handles other government pensions through the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, and Government Pension Offset, GPO. These complex provisions affect public sector workers who receive pensions from jobs not covered by Social Security. The proposed modifications could change how these offsets are calculated, potentially affecting thousands of public servants, including teachers, firefighters, and police officers. One aspect that hasn't received much attention is how these changes might affect the Social Security Administration itself. The agency has been dealing with staffing shortages and outdated technology for years. How will it handle implementing these complex changes while maintaining service levels for beneficiaries? The administration's proposals include funding for modernization, but some worry it won't be enough to prevent service disruptions. The proposed changes also include modifications to how Social Security handles international agreements and payments to beneficiaries living abroad. While this affects a relatively small percentage of recipients, it could have significant implications for Americans who retire overseas or foreign workers who've earned Social Security credits in the United States. What's particularly striking about these proposals is their comprehensive nature. Rather than addressing individual issues, the administration is suggesting a complete overhaul of how Social Security operates. This raises important questions about implementation. How would these changes be phased in? What protections would be in place for vulnerable beneficiaries? How would the public be educated about these significant modifications? As we look at the broader economic context, these changes to Social Security can't be viewed in isolation. They're being proposed at a time when many Americans are already struggling with inflation, healthcare costs, and retirement savings. How will these Social Security modifications interact with other economic factors affecting seniors and disabled Americans? The administration's proposals also include changes to how Social Security handles Medicare premium deductions and coordination of benefits. This technical aspect could have real-world implications for beneficiaries' monthly budgets and healthcare access. It's another example of how seemingly minor administrative changes can have significant impacts on people's lives. Looking ahead, the big question is, what happens next? These proposals will need to go through Congress, where they're likely to face intense scrutiny and possible modifications. The political dynamics around Social Security reform are always complex, and in today's polarized environment, reaching consensus on such significant changes won't be easy. For now, current beneficiaries should stay informed but not panic. Most of the proposed changes would be implemented gradually, with protections for those currently receiving benefits. However, it's important to understand how these changes might affect you or your loved ones in the future. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on what all this means. Social Security isn't just a government program, it's a fundamental part of the American social contract, a promise to ensure dignity and security in retirement and disability. Any changes to this program deserve careful consideration and public debate. What do you think about these proposed changes? How would they affect you or your loved ones? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your perspective matters, and this conversation is crucial for understanding the real-world impact of these potential changes. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on Social Security and retirement benefits. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.